So today we will be starting a new sutta. I think all of you must have seen the sutta text. But today I'm going to give you an introduction of the importance of this sutta. Not a lot of showing, demonstrating that I might. So, how many of you have been able to read the text or read through the text to get an idea of what this sutta is all about? Were you able to take a look? Or were you waiting until I turn over the pages? Hear from certain other experts say that people like eating snakes because they have a lot of misconceptions about the snake. They always think that snakes come and attack us, bite us. So because of the misconception, they are going to kill. Whenever they see a snake, probably 20 meters from that person's place, they go and they kill the snake. Why? They have a belief that snakes come and kill us. Of course not. It's a distance. Snake might bite us if we are living near the snake. So in the same way, if we do not know a certain area of the Dharma, it is very easy for us to give wrong interpretation, probably interpretation. Are we learning here in the Sutta discussions about interpretations of other people, or are we learning the true teaching of the Buddha? What are we trying to do here through our Sutta study, or wherever you go to study Sutta? We are trying to learn the true precise teachings of the Buddha in the same way how he meant. In order for most of the English translations done by Western scholars, and there are a lot of issues in those translations. Why is it good? They think from that Christian canonical perspective. So they don't know about Pali, especially they might look at a dictionary. They might study a little bit, but of course, Pali has a contextual meaning. So if we don't know about the contextual meaning, we might not understand that particular area, maybe that particular sutta. So it's very important today study suttas not from the interpretation but from the text. But keep in mind, do not think that the suttas are the Samapon, the greatest truth. Suttas are helpful for us to understand the Buddha's teaching. As you know, suttas have been come down to us in oral traditions by many other monks over the course of 2000 over years. So, of course, who knows? There may have things added, there may have not things that been added. So, we are carefully looking at the text. Sometimes, in order to understand a particular sutta, we may have to read few other suttas, probably more other suttas, because otherwise we don't understand what it is. Not as a translation, I mean teaching-wise. Have we done that before? Have we done that in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta study? Have we looked at other suttas to understand Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta? Yes or no? Have we studied other suttas to learn Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta? Yes, we did. If you look at the notes, there are many other suttas we study to learn what Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta is all about. If somebody does not have that wide reading and just right away land on this Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta and trying to understand what it is, then you might get a wrong understanding of what it is. So it's super interesting to study the sutta. Studying the sutta is very important, even in that Sutta study, you should be able to be carefully looking at the English translations. Probably you only have to read a few translations. Also, you have to read it with a cross study about other suttas to learn what it is. Make sense? Now I was giving you a background, information. What is homework to do? You have to read also by yourself, not only depend on this kind of a thing. This is very helpful to all of you. But you do your own reading. You have to question what it is. You might perhaps think, no, I might not agree with this point. Probably I'm going to ask from Bhante. Maybe it doesn't make sense to me, right? Maybe you ask from another Kalyan. This is how we learn. Not that somebody said we have to accept it. So we have that openness throughout the things. Alright, today's sutta is about āsavās. We call it SABBASAVA Sutta. Do you all have the link? I think yes. SABBASAVA. Before I jump into the sutta, let me ask you. āsavā. Probably I'm going to show you text. Okay, this particular part of it. Āsavā. Sutta name is SABBASAVA Sutta. Āsavā. What does āsavā mean? Āsavā means something that is discharging. There is something that is discharged from something. What is being discharged? There are a lot of things being discharged from our mind. Now we know when you have a wound, when you have other issues in your body, there may have things discharged. But mentally, there are mental states that are being discharged depending on how we manage our emotions. Right? So we call āsavā to be something influxes. Influxes. Now, if I make it more simple, let's say now on a daily basis you are happy, you are unhappy, you may be angry, you may be jealous, you may be frustrated, you may be, I would say, annoyed, right? You may be desperate, you may be grumpy, you may be anticipating things, you may be wishing somebody, you may be blessing somebody, you may have plans for the future, so you have many mental states going up and down, right? They are fluctuating time to time. So, now when we say āsavā, they are more to the negative mental states. So your mind releases negative mental states because is our mind refined already, or we have to refine our mind? How are our raw thoughts working? Now let's say, like think, if I have not cultivated my thoughts, then my mind will always discharge raw thoughts that are mostly negative, unskillful. Right? But if I have trained my mind for some time, then I have a very good support from the mind side to have positive, wholesome, skillful thoughts. Right? So, but unfortunately, our mind is creating lots of mental discharge. We call it as āsavās, more to the negative side. Āsavā. Now, what have you already got to know about āsavās? Anybody would like to say anything about āsavā? What have you known about it? āsava. Is this the first time you hear this word? Āsava? I believe not. You must have heard this word many times. So, once again, āsava means negative mental discharge. You would say influxes. Now, these influxes are outflowing. Let's say you are angry, or you have a bunch of negative thoughts. Once you are coming up with these thoughts, then you are pouring them out. Right? So we call this as to be āsavās. Now, what did the Buddha say primarily about the āsavās? What is Buddha's understanding about āsavās? Is it a very big subject? Is it something that is very concerning our emotional life, our spiritual life, our mental health? This is Buddha. Is āsavās telling us a very interesting area of our mental health now, folks? Are you very concerned about your mental health?
Yes.
I believe yes. You all are concerned about it. Right? You should not be sick mentally. You should not be fatigued with our mental health. So then, is this topic called āsava having an impact on our mental health? Yes. The Buddha said, especially this sutta is called Sammaditthi Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya. In this sutta called Sammaditthi, the Buddha says that āsava and avijja, āsava means influxes and avijja means ignorance, they are mutually constructive. Now you know avijja, right? Ignorance. What is ignorance? You could say I'm ignorant about a certain subject. I'm ignorant about how to cook. I'm ignorant about physics. I'm ignorant about biology. Right? So it is not that kind of ignorance. This is about ignorance on the Four Noble Truths. Ignorance about the fundamental teachings of the Buddha, especially Four Noble Truths. So, the Buddha says that āsava and ignorance, or avijja, āsava means what you call influxes, and avijja means ignorance, they are mutually constructive. Without āsavās, avijja cannot arise. Without avijja, āsavās cannot arise. So they are mutually dependent on. It's like mind and body, right? What people talk about. Yeah, I have to go for meditation, meditation is very important. Yoga is sorry. Maybe yoga is very important, meditation is not important. No, they both are equally important. They both are equally important. Because without the body, there is no mind. Without the mind, there is no body. Mind and body make us, right? You cannot separate them out, and then you will, scientists, even the teachers in Buddhism and other religions, they separate out just to show what it is, but you cannot separate them naturally because they are mutually dependent on each other. In the same way, avijja and āsava is today's sutta's main topic. Āsavās, they are mutually constructive. That means āsava is equally important as or like avijja. Avijja and āsava, they are both important at the same time. Like I'm not going to talk about. Now, in this particular sutta, SABBASAVA Sutta, go back to the text again, you can see. Sutta. This Sutta introduces us something very important. Sutta says, if āsavās are our primary negative mental discharge, then there are many āsavās. Sutta only talks about 3 types of āsavās. What are they? Kāmasava, bhavāsava, avijjāsava. Kama means sensual desire, is an āsava, influx. And then the second influx is, that means we are on a daily basis, all the time, discharging sensual desire. Is it wrong? Is it bad? Is it bad to discharge your sensual desire? Of course. Is it? It is natural for us to discharge sensual desire. You may have a management on it, but it is natural, otherwise you won't survive. Okay? You would have not born. It's natural. But the important aspect of that discharge of sensual desire is whether such sensual desires are being discharged in an ethical way. Okay? That is the main concern. Then the second is what we call kāmasava, then bhavāsava. Bhavāsava means existence or becoming, right? Discharge of becoming. That means you are looking for many different lives for the future. Are you doing that sometimes? Have you ever thought about your next life? I mean, have you ever imagined about it? Not even thought, imagine. Somebody a long time ago, one gentleman was asking me over and over, Bhante, you know a big, what do you call? Beetle. I have seen a beetle. I am wondering, how can someone be reborn as a beetle in his next life, or her next life? I said there are reasons for people to be reborn as ants and those tiny creatures, beetles. But I said, if you are always asking me about this, how can someone become a beetle? Then your mind is always about beetles. Then your last thought also will be on a beetle, and you will become a beetle. Are you happy about it? Would you be happy? Oh, so don't ask me about it. Because you are always thinking about how someone can become a beetle. Because your habitual thoughts, your constant thoughts, they are always modeling you, for the next life. So now some people are concerned about their next life, especially what you call in terms of who to become next life. The Buddha says that power is an influx. So whenever you think about the next life that way, what is a better life, and then you are discharging powers. Right? And then the third āsava, mental discharge, is what you call avijjāsava. Avijjāsava means you are discharging about ignorance. You are discharging ignorance. So now we are always discharging ignorance because we understand that ignorance arises whenever there is no understanding about the formal truths. Right? So kāmasava, bhavāsava, and avijjāsava. Right? So these are the main āsavās that we see in the sutta. Now, these āsavās are always being released by us. Right? So, on account of that release, then what will happen to us is that we are creating subsequent defilements. Now we know the kilesas. So, āsavās, then you could say evil roots, lobha, dosa, moha, and then you be creating defilements. Alright? Kilesas. There are a lot of kilesas that you can create, you may create. So that means if we understand what to do with the āsavās, then you are minimizing your kilesas. And the Buddha said in this sutta, there are, let's say sometimes āsavās as kilesas too, because you know this word from kilesa all the time. He says that there are different defilements, or in this case I would say āsavās, that must be overcome in different ways. Okay. Now, the way how you tackle a certain violent person might be different from managing another person. Right? So it's an animal. Maybe another, let's say in your life you may have experienced a lot of difficulty. And another difficulty, these two approaches could be different. In the same way, Buddha says, not all akusavas, or I would say āsavās, can be overcome in one method. And then he said to us that there are 7 methods that we have to use for 7 types of āsavās. That means there are 7 type of akusavas, or I would say āsavās. In order for us to overcome them, we have to use 7 methods. Now let me ask you, can we overcome all akusavas in one method? According to this sutta. What was your understanding so far? I think you may have already understood this in a certain different way, thinking meditation.
Recording in progress.
Alright. Is there an interesting thing to learn? That must be an interesting thing to learn, right? Because a lot of people think that meditation is the only way that we can overcome our akusavas. No, there are 6 other ways that we have to put into practice. Right? Now, don't think that meditation is not important. You might perhaps think, I would say, you might think that all these methods could be kind of meditation. But the Buddha says the 7th method is meditation. But there are 6 other methods that we have to learn. They are different methods. They are not direct meditation. Now, this is about this sutta, SABBASAVA Sutta. Alright, if you look at the flyer today, you see a very interesting word. Knowing is not enough. Seeing is also required to overcome āsavās. What is that all about? Now, if you look at yourself and your āsavās, look at your today. Say, today morning, kusala and akusala thoughts. Have you been doing kusalas and akusalas? If you look at a ratio, a scale of 1 to 10, maybe I'm not going to ask that. What have you been feeling? Have you been doing a lot of kusalas or akusalas? Mentally, yeah? Other people cannot see them. It is only you know what you have. You have to ask yourself, have you been doing a lot of kusalas mentally, or have you been doing the opposite of kusalas? Mostly, is it kusalas or akusala? I mean, I am talking about akusala in the sense of panatipata, adinada, kamisudiccaca, savaga, suami. 5 precepts. Don't go to very deeper down teachings. Just take it simple 5 precepts. If you look at your today, since today morning, have you been doing the opposite of the wrong side of the 5 precepts or the true 5 precepts? Have you been able to stay on to your precepts? Have you been doing lots of dharma, sila and all that? If you look at it, you might think it is not only you, probably in your surrounding, the people in your household, the way they talk to you, what they talk to you, how they interact with you. You might say, I was so good, so nice, but look at that guy, he made a mess today. I was compelled to do a bad thing at that point. So you are picking on other people to say that I was good, but because of these people, I had to lie, I had to do this and that. Now, let me tell you something from this sutta. The Buddha says that many people know what is good and what is bad, what is good and bad, what is skillful and what is unskillful. Many people know. But the problem is that when the bad thing is going to come up in their life, let's say going to be corrupt, going to be angry, going to be bad mouth about the people, they are not able to see the problem at that moment. Let's say you are getting angry. You look at that, take one moment of being angry today. Have you been able to think that, oh, now I'm getting angry, this is not good, I gotta stop myself at this point. Oh, were you able to justify, say, no, I have to be angry because this person did this to me. I have to defend myself. I have to react to this person in the same way. What was stronger in those 2 moments? Was it that were you able to see? Or was it that you were trying to defend yourself to do the bad? Probably you must have not been able to see the problem. That's what the Buddha said, that it is not enough just to have a knowledge about the bad. This is bad. It is not enough. Then being able to see the problem at the time is very, very important. Before you bad about, I'm going to bad and I'm so bad, I'm going to drop that conversation. That is something very emphasized by the Buddha in this sutta. He says, jānato, passato, āsavās, and monks, I'm telling you that it is possible to get rid of the akusala if you know them at the same time, if you see them at the time that they are going to arise in your thought moments, emotions. But to many people, what time they are going to see the problem? After they've done that, after they failed in that thought moment, they get to, yeah, I did that, I shouldn't have done it, right? I shouldn't have done it. And they're going to be regretful about what they did. And this regret should have come at the time of your, or before you're going to do it. That is what I'm saying, what the Buddha is saying. Being able to see the negativity, your bad, evil thought at the time is more important than probably your knowledge. Knowledge and being able to see at the time is very important to be a good person. And you have people who are doing the bad stuff, they already know what it is. They already know they are evil nature, but they can't help not doing it. The reason is that because they are not able to see it at the time, before they are during the time. Right? So, in this sutta, Buddha says, jānato is not enough. Jānato is knowing your negative nature, akusala mind. it is also very important, very important for all of us to be able to see our negativity before it arises. Now, one very good practice to do in terms of our arising of the negativities, āsavās, or whatever bad things is practicing breath meditation. I always tell them. What does it mean? Does that mean that when you are angry, you're going to watch your thought, you're going to watch your breaths? Is it possible? How can a breath meditation help you to become a very successful, emotionally very successful person? Now I said breath meditation, but how do you do it? Now you are getting angry. Okay, I'm going to watch myself. Breathing. Is that the way? No. If you have practiced breath meditation sometime, then you know the different types of breaths. You are puffing, you are having a heavy breath, something wrong with my mental structure, something wrong with my emotional structure. I gotta look at what is going on. So then, breath meditation is very helpful, but not to do the breath meditation at that time, but to feel the differences, various of your breaths. That is one very good way to use or practice seeing your negativity at the time, supported by the breath meditation. Alright, any questions so far about what I've been explaining to you about the āsavās? And then jānato, passato, knowing is not enough, seeing also very important, and etc. before I jump into the sutta. Alright, maybe you can save it till the end. Now, what is the good news today for you in terms of our topic? Maybe you may have not ever heard that the Buddha said that there are 7 ways to overcome your obstacles. But until today, most of you must have known that there's only one way to overcome your obstacles. What is it? Meditation. Today, I'm telling you, it's not true. It's not my opinion, it's Buddha. This SABBASAVA Sutta. The Buddha says there are seven ways. 7 ways. One way is only meditation. That's a 7. Okay, now let's go over these 7 ways, probably in very simple explanations, because we are going to learn one by one from next week, right? Alright. What is the first method? The first method is about, before that, I have to teach you something else also. Now, alright, when you learn Buddhist teachings, you may have learned different teachings, especially Dharma teachings, right? Now, one very famous teachings you may have learned probably is the 10 fetters. 10 fetters mean these are the 10 things that keep us in the samsara. They have bound us in not seeing the reality. What are they? Sakkaya Ditthi is the first. Vijikiccha is the second. Siddhappada Paramas. Pamarana. Patika. Then Ruparana. Aruparana. Man, Buddha, Charita. We call them Samyutta. Let me type probably through. It's here. We call them in English as fetters. Fetters. What is a fetter? Fetters are what is called chains. Chain. So we have been chained to like sun. So we have been chained by these 10. Okay, let's learn what they are first. Now the first one is the first one is Sakkaya Ditthi. Sakkaya Ditthi means our personality, structure, means we believe we are, I would say, extreme selfishness, right? We are very selfish about ourselves. This first one. I just want to tell you that I'm having a bad weather over here in case I lost my power. I just want to tell you before cooperation. Sakkayiti, then second is what we call Jekicca, third is Sila, let's study these three first. Now, sakkayiti means that we are extremely building a very selfish mentality, what we call our ego, right? And vicikicca means doubts. Sila paramasa means attaching to different cults, morality and cults. So these three are the first factors. Now, what we call the Buddha says here, when you become Buddha, you are going to get rid of these three. That means you are not anymore going to what we call maintain sakkayiti, vicikicca, and sila paramasa. Now, how do we have sakkayiti? If you maintain a very high sense of selfishness, ego, that means you have sakkayiti, right? If you feel that you are maintaining a high sense of ego, you only have an ego to a certain level. But if you feel that you are so much bothered by this self mentality, that is a sign of you having this sakkayiti. Vicikicca means you have lots of doubts about spirituality. If you have a doubt, you should always try to solve it. How can you solve it? You can read texts, read books, you can approach a Buddhist monk, right? You can ask from Kalyana Mittras, you can check with your own experiences, right? All that. So never keep any doubts all along, because those doubts can definitely give you a hard time. Probably you might come up with other thoughts about those doubts. Doubts should be what we call dispelled, and you should learn from the proper persons. And sila paramasa means that you have an attachment to different moralities. Now I always tell you that you practice morality because you want to go into the next level. The next level of the morality is to have a good mind. And then after that, wisdom. But there are people who only practice morality. They are thinking morality alone is the best thing. The Buddha said no. We should not only practice sila, we have to simultaneously practice samadhi and also fun. And also, what we call addict into certain cults. Do we have cults in Buddhism? Buddhist cultures? Different cults? Can you name? Do we have cults? Do Buddhists have cults? If we have cults, then it's a problem, because then that means we have sila and dharma. Now, the first method that the Buddha talks about is dasana. Okay, is this one. As you can see here. Right? Thus, that means there are a certain āsavās. How is it? How is it? Whenever the negative emotion arises, we should be able to see them, how they arise, how they stay, what can we do to overcome. Now let me ask you, have you ever been able to see your negativity in the past while it is slowly arising, maybe rapidly arising? Have you ever tried it, or you just let it blast in your mentality? What must have happened in you? Let's say, so far in your life, have you ever given some time to look at your negative emotions or acts? Have you ever seen them, how they are rising? Or you have just succumbed to the injuries of those negativities? Maybe you may have given some time, maybe very less time, very less moments, very few moments actually. Opportunity. So the Buddha asks us to see the negativity while the negativity is slowly arising in our mentality. Is it important for us? It's very important. I think this is a very important strategy, important method that we can use to see our negativity. Right? Now, one thing a lot of people talk about, some people talk about, is that when you are angry, try to write the thoughts that come to your mind on a piece of paper. Then after 1 hour, when you are okay, try to read back what you wrote. Then you will see how evil can you be. You will see how evil can you go in your life. But after 1-2 hours, you will be a very good person. Right? Oh, I'm a very normal person, I'm very normal, I'm not abnormal like that. But whenever you write it, you see how evil can you go. That's very important. That is why if you cannot even do that, at least that is a right. Then you know, these are the evil thoughts that come to my mind. So I have to definitely diminish those thoughts. I have to try my best not to bring myself to that kind of evil nature. You don't need to blame yourself. We are all human beings. But we should be able to understand our normal human being nature. And that is why I said that maybe you can try writing your negative emotions on a piece of paper. Then later, take a look. Take a look at those things you wrote. Then one day, you can gradually go to that level. That level is that you are going to see your, if you cannot see, at least you write it. Right? Then at this point, what I'm saying is that the Buddha's advice is trying to see your negativity at the time when you are being jealous, when you are being irritated, when you are going to gossip about others. Now, have you ever thought when you are gossiping, gossip is not good, I should not do that. Okay. Where is that motivation coming from? From this person. Because I have to see my problem. Okay. Even when you are coming up with other thoughts, maybe you have a huge anger of politicians everywhere in the world. Some people may have. Right? Before you are throwing that, is this the best way to solve this issue? Just being angry can just, can it solve the issue? You are trying to see, you are trying to look for a better solution without putting yourself in that negativity. So, the first method is being able to see your negativity at the time. Now, if we talk about the negativity, then what about the other side? When you are doing a good thing, let's say you are doing a dana, you are bringing dana, you are doing something helpful to other people. Have you ever seen your own mentality at that time? If you are doing that, how happy am I? I am very generous now, offering something, I am giving something, I am practicing metta. I think a lot of people try to see that more because they think this is my own happiness. But they don't do it when they are struggling with the negative emotions. They don't do that. So try to see your negativity at the time. So you are going to stop it in time before it is going to make a big time in your life. First thing is that, lasana. Second is samvara. Let's go over the text. Now we are doing one by one. Don't worry. Next week I will be seeing December 4th is next week. December 4th I am going to be doing this first method which I just taught. And the second method is going to be the what you call restraining. That one I will be doing in person. December 11th I will be there in person. So I will be doing that over there. Then one by one we will be doing. So first one is this. And then the second method is going to be, this is the second method, samvara, which means restrain. Second, restrain. What does restraining mean? That means when you are calming yourself, you can minimize lots of opposites. That means we have to guard our senses. Right? We have to calm our eyes, we have to calm our ears, we have to calm our nose, we have to calm our tongue, we have to calm our body, we have to calm our mind. So that you can minimize lots of opposites. Are we simply minimizing are we simply trying to stop our senses? Can you live without eyes? Can you live without eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind? No. We are not going to deprive our senses. That is not the purpose of guarding our senses. Then I tell you something. One day, one man came to the Buddha and asked him, Bhante, now I have some enemies. I would like to see them. Maybe in the place I work. So I think I'm trying to avoid them all the time. I'm trying not to see them. I think some people do that when they are invited by party people, maybe a house, they're asking, those people are coming also to this party, They are checking because I don't like to see them in the party. They are checking who are coming. They don't want to mix up with them, mingle with them. Then he said to the Buddha, Bhante, I'm actually trying not to see them. So I'm happy, I have my peace. Then the Buddha said, then the blind people will attain Nibbana faster than you. The blind people. So they cannot see anything. So they should be able to become arahants, attain Nibbana faster. Then the Buddha said, don't do that. Just go, see the people who you don't like, but don't try to create negative thoughts about them. Don't bother them. Don't bother them, don't bother you. You just do your things. Then one day, another man came to the Buddha and said, Bhante, I don't like to hear their words. There are people whose words are very terrible for some time. So I avoid listening to them, hearing their words. Maybe I walk away. So then will that give me peace? Then the Buddha said, you might think this peace, but if you think so, then the deaf people will attain Nibbana faster than they can hear deaf people. So the Buddha said, do not deprive your senses. Sensory deprivation is not the Buddhist way of guarding our sense. Buddha said you should see, you should hear, but don't create opposites. It is you who is going to get opposites on those options. Sounds, images of our energy. Actually, when we have that kind of a training, that kind of a discipline, we are not worrying at any time. Even the worst person that you thing in your life comes to your face, you are happy dealing with that more. Now just think about in your life when there is a terrible person that you're going to meet all of a sudden. What is going to happen to your whole body? Head to toe. Right? You may have a very difficult emotion at that. The Buddha said it is okay. Just, if you cannot avoid it, you just say hi and bye, and you should be able to survive in that. So, sensory deprivation, shutting down your senses is not the key to the calming down of your senses. You just still see here, but you don't bring opposites to your senses. Now, the second method is that you are trying to calm your senses but not to deprive your senses. Don't deprive. If you shut off, then it's going to be a problem. Why is it, let's say you are able to walk away 10 years. You are not seeing the bad person for 10 years. Then the 11th year, on the 1st of January, you meet that person in front of you. You are releasing 10 years of anger with that person. You like this. But that is not going to work. May they come, may the words be heard, but you are not free. You are not giving meaning to those things. So, don't, shut off the senses. You are trying to always keep them alive at the same time. Don't give meanings to different senses. How can we overcome opposites? Through calming down, through watching our senses. If we bring lots of awareness to our senses, let's say now I am seeing someone who might have a problem in his arms, then I am not bringing that to my mind and then trying to create opposites. I know I should not deprive, I just see what it is. Then I just calm myself at that moment. So, problem solved. Right? So, the second method is to restrain our senses or guarding our senses so that will help us to overcome certain opposites which many people cannot overcome. In this society, many people cannot overcome opposites by guarding their senses. They open their mouth very fast. They release their frustration very fast. They cannot stop. But if you have that training under the second method, no, I don't want to talk about 5 minutes. Ask this go. I don't want to waste my precious moment, precious time in my life. Right? Habit. Yeah. Second is that, second method to overcome opposites is restraining your senses, guarding your senses. Can we guard our senses all the time? Yes, we can. We can. Third method is passato, which means, I would say, the wise use of certain things in our life. Let's take a look. This is the second method. Then, third, passato is here. Passato means using. That means when you are using wise of your needs, you can minimize certain opposites. What are the needs do we have in our life? Clothing is a big need in our life. Clothing. Second, food. What we eat and drink. Third is shelter. We need a house, a roof over us. Fourth one is medicine. Now, do people have opposites regarding these four? Do they create opposites? Do people have craving? Different types of craving over their clothing? I bought this particular clothing from that shop. It's a branded one, not generic, it's a brand. Okay? It's not bad to buy clothing from branded stores. Over time people are creating certain cravings towards clothing. I remember one story. There was a very good monk, and then I think in that particular teaching, what happened was that when the monk passed away, the Buddha said, do not burn the body with that robe. Because the monk was very attached to his robe. He became a monk in the robe. And the Buddha said, do not burn the dead monk with that robe. See, he will become a monk very soon. So if you are attached to certain things, you will become a part of that object. Right? Remember the story of Todeya. The father, Todeya, passed away. And then he became a dog in the house. Now the son invited the Buddha over to his house to give dana, 7-day dana. 7 days or maybe 3 months. It's not properly mentioned. So at that time, there was a custom probably, it was made by his young son. So he sent a dog to the temple to bring the Buddha and monks to the house. He didn't know the dog was his father. And the dog went to the temple, and then now he's guiding the Buddha and the monks over to the house. Halfway on the road, he is taking the Buddha to very different roads, because he doesn't like Buddha and the monks going to his house. Why is it? Son is going to spend money on the food as dana to the Buddha today. He doesn't like it. So then Buddha was tolerated 2 times. Third time he did it, the Buddha said, Todeya, you did it when you were alive, don't do it after you became a dog. He was very upset about it. He ran, the dog ran. Because the dog understood the Buddha, recognized him. Then the Buddha and monks went to that house, the son's house, and then now the son offered dana to the Buddha and the monks, and then the Buddha called him, and then said he wanted to tell something, and then the Buddha told son or Subodh, you see this dog who is lying over there? He is not somebody else, he is your father. He was very bad. Who likes to see him? Father is a dog. Yes, he is a dog. Give some food to the dog, and then very lovingly ask him, Father, where are the very treasures in this house? And then he did that. Then the dog went to the kitchen and then tried to scratch a certain place of the kitchen. Then he started digging, found all the treasures in the house. There's so much attachment to the things that he used in his life. So we have to use things, but don't attach. Don't be greedy for the clothing you have, whatever things you have. We will use and we will die. Use it wise. That means, as Buddhists, we use clothes and whatever things you have without greed. Buy whatever the clothes you want, buy whatever things you want, but don't develop greed over it. That is the point. You have money, go for it, but don't create greed and then the food. How many cravings do people have for food? Lots of cravings. Cravables, they say, cravings. Those junk food and cravables. So if we have lots of greed for these cravables, maybe some junk food, maybe other things too, then we will have lots of greed for those things. The Buddha said, then you are creating a nuisance. Try to overcome by thinking, I eat to survive, to live, not to create greed. I put on clothing just to live, just to cover up my body and then not to create greed. I am in a house that I can afford because I have to stay in the house to be comfortable, to practice my Dhamma and to help out other people and to find my own comfort, but not to create greed for the particular house. I am using medicines, medications, just to survive, just to take care of myself from sicknesses. Not to think that I am the healthiest person in this life or out of some other people. So whenever you are looking at the basic needs, clothing, food, shelter, and then medication, you are minimizing unnecessary grief attached to those things. This is the third way of overcoming āsavās regarding your basic needs. We will have a very lengthy explanations about these things one by one. We will go over about more things and basic. Today I just wanted to tell you that what this sutta is all about. So this sutta is all about 7 methods to deal with 7 āsavās. So then the fourth method, third method is using, I'm calling passato, using. Then we go to the fourth method. Adivasana. Adivasana means tolerating. Tolerating. What does it mean, Gambos? By being patient, can we minimize some āsavās? Have you been able to minimize, diminish some āsavās by being patient in your life? Has patience given you lots of opportunities to become a better person? Maybe you get more opportunities in your life? How has patience worked for you? Patience can give us lots of things. I think this is the, according to Buddhism, this is the highest virtue. If you are not patient, you cannot do any good thing in your life. Now say for instance, you have come over here, sat down. How patient can you be now to our account? If you have been patient, then you cannot even turn down. Right? Then be patient. Now after going home, how much will you have to be patient to practice this? Now to learn this, you have to come and then stay here for an hour and a half, and then going home. How much patience should you be to put into the practice? And not for one day, every day. It's all about patience. Our life. If you look at anybody, even if your opportunities, your achievement, they all come as a part of patience, tolerance. Now, here the Buddha says that if you can tolerate a lot of things in your life, you can minimize lots of āsavās, unnecessary negative emotions. Now, some people might misunderstand. Oh, I am having an anger now. Let me tolerate my anger. You are not going to tolerate anger. You are going to replace anger with loving things. And then you are going to tolerate loving things. Tolerate the good virtues. Don't tolerate the bad virtues. Now, if you look at even your household, most of the problems many people are struggling in their life is that there is no active listening between people, right? Now, if you see, there are people who are saying to others that, I don't want any solution from you. I simply want to talk to someone. Why is it? Because that person has not received the listening part from the household, right? There's no tolerance for other person's ideas or opinions, right? That's very important. So when you are in a place where you think that there are lots of arguments happening, it is because one party is not listening to the other party. Right? I have heard in a management class a long time ago when I was doing my bachelor's. The professor was telling, nobody was giving any clues from the audience. Show the speaker that you are willing to listen. There's somebody else. How can you show? Just show, Just show that you are willing to learn from us. You just don't look at it like this. Everyone was trying to show the professor that, okay, we are very much interested about what you are talking. Right? So that means listening is such a very very important thing. Right? Especially if your personal relationship. And if you listen, then you can. That is tolerance. You tolerate what other people talk. Right? But accepting or not is your own decision. Right? At least you are patient. Okay. Can we learn from the Buddha? Can we think about any stories how Buddha tolerated other people, especially the very messed up people? Remember one story, one very famous story. One Brahmin came to the Buddha and then started blaming him, saying that whatever you are talking is not practical. They are very, we cannot accept it. There is no energy, there is no effort. Everything is created by God. So whatever things you've been talking, they are going to be useless in their society. And try to blame you. The Buddha did not say any single word. No, like silence sometimes is the best answer. Just to be silent, because we are talking all the time. And then he was patiently tolerating the person. And then he finished after some time, whatever is played. And then the Buddha asked, are you done? And with your blades? He said, yes. You say, touch your hand. He said, yes, I'm done with my blades. And then Buddha asked him, can I ask you some questions? Okay, yeah, you can ask. Then the Buddha asked, are you a very hospitable person? Do you treat other people when they come to your house? That I'm a very hospitable person. I take care of visitors very well. Then he said, I treat everybody with sweets, snack sweets. Then the Buddha asked another question. What if that your visitors who are coming to your house are to say that we just had our dinner, we just had our lunch or breakfast, so we cannot eat, but just thanking. What would you do for those food? Then he said, doesn't matter, because after they leave, we got to eat. Then the Buddha said, alright, so you gave me a nice treat today. I am not accepting, so please take it back. Please take the blades back. Some Buddha are tolerated. Right? He would have said, I'm Buddha, you should not take it. Because you don't tolerate, you cannot talk in a regular way with everybody when they are men. Right? This is one example. Right? So there are many examples, many stories. You can just browse the life of the Buddha. Right? He was tolerating, and then tolerating the good things, especially to give meaning to those people. So tolerance is one method to overcome āsavās or āsavās. The fourth method. Then the next method is going to be parivajjana. This is the fifth one. Means avoiding. Now here, there is something to learn. Now earlier I said, do not avoid, do not deprive your senses. But here Buddha said, sometimes you may avoid certain things. Now, what are certain things? At that time there was no power, right? So the Buddha said, when you are trying to walk on a road where there are some animals who are not domesticated, wild animals, you should not go on that road. Why is it? When the animals are going to attack you, you are coming up with anger, right? So why do don't go that road? Now there are certain people, they know that this highway is so much traffic. They being late, they go into the same traffic and then try to blame everybody around. Whose problem is that? Maybe his problem, her problem. He or she could have gone earlier on that highway. Another thing. If it is a problematic place, you should not go in that sense. But it doesn't say to deprive yourself. And then he particularly emphasizes certain things. He says, a thorny thing. Let's say there is a stone which is thorny. Now, let's say when you are stepping on a thorny tree, then what will happen initially is that you feel pain. The moment you feel painful, you might come up with anger. Right? The Buddha said, avoid unnecessary places. Right? It is for your, this is one method to overcome obstacles. So, this is the fifth one. Then we have the last two over here. And the sixth one. The sixth one is going to be Vinodana. Vinodana means destroy. Destroy means, can Buddhists destroy other people? In Buddhism, do we have any holy walls to protect Buddhism? Do we have? No, we cannot destroy anyone. Right? So we are supposed to be extremely careful about other beings, but in a very wise way. Right? Now let's say you are going on a highway and then there is an animal coming onto the road. There are many other vehicles coming behind you. Can you stop the vehicle while you are driving on a highway just because of the animal? By though you cannot stop, isn't it? Can you stop your car just because of one animal, but there are other many vehicles coming behind? Can you do that? Why though you cannot? Say, do not jeopardize other drivers on the road just because of an animal. So you are thinking twice. I cannot stop the vehicle. I'm not going to kill the animal. But if I stop it, many other cars are going to crash onto me. They are going to die. Many of them. So our way of looking at taking care of other things is very wise. We are not doing it like a very, an unwise way. Right? So we are not supposed to destroy, but we try our best not to do it. Right? I always take some examples like, can there be a Buddhist soldier? Can there be a Buddhist police person? Law enforcement. Right? There should be. There is a Buddhist police official who is called to go to a domestic violence house. He is going to that house. There is apparently an argument going and probably some even very terrible things going to happen. So she may have to use the extra force. Maybe to protect the innocent one. Right? Soldier may have to do some things according to whatever they are asked, just because to protect the country, protect the people. So there is the possibility. Our way of taking care of other beings should be very wise. That is what the Buddha said. So here, destroy means we have to destroy unnecessary sensual desires. We have to destroy unnecessary, I would say definitely, evil thoughts. Definitely thoughts of bullying other people. Are there bullies in our life? Not in our life. No. There are some bullies in society. The Buddha said, if you have a thought of extreme sensuality, have a thought of evil, we have a thought of what do you call it? Decision thought, we have the what do you call taking care of other beings kind of thoughts, and then to save other beings in particular ways. So this is called the sixth method. That means sometimes you may have to destroy evil thoughts and to replace the evil thoughts with the good ones. Sixth one. Some people they don't cultivate the thoughts. That is not going to be working for them. So you have to practice the first six simultaneously and then to practice the last one. Finally, you can practice everything together. Alright, so today what we will learn is an introduction to the Sutta. What is the name of the Sutta? name of the sutta? SABBASAVA. Go back. SABBASAVA Sutta. This one. Why is this sutta very important? Why is it very important? Why did we pick up to study this sutta? Because this is the sutta where the Buddha says that there are 7 ways to practice, to overcome 7 usaras. That means in Buddhism there is not only one way to practice to overcome our negative thoughts. We have 7 ways to do it. So never ever think there's only one way, that is meditation. Meditation is only one. There are another 6 ways. That means these 7 ways must be simultaneously practiced. Otherwise, you are not going to overcome your opposite thoughts. Āsavās, pretty much. So āsavās would be the starting point. Then 3 unskillful rules, what I call rules of movement, then defilements and all. Alright, any questions for today? The first day of the sutta. You can come forward and ask. Alright, any questions? You can come forward and ask the question about the sutta, about what we will be discussing today, about anything that you have in the sutta.
When you say see that arises, that emotion arising, maybe you have to find out the reason why you get that. What causes it?
Yes.
What triggered it?
Yes. All that.
The reason.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Now, you pointed out a very important point, and actually, honestly, you can take a sip. Yeah, please go and take a sip. I was very important. Now, a lot of people, they go to meditate. I really like to meditate this practice. They think meditation is the way how you can overcome the negative. Now, say for instance, that angry thought. Now, let's say angry thought are now slowly arising. Right? Now, you are going to see what it is. Now, what tool do you need for this? Tell me. What tool do you need for this? If you want to catch it at the time how it is arising, what tool? What tool do you need? You need mindfulness, isn't it? So mindfulness is a tool. Mindfulness meditation is a tool that you are using to see it. But why you are using mindfulness meditation to see it? Because you have this understanding, this vast understanding. This is a bad action. I have to let it go. I have to see. That is why you are going and using that mindfulness to use it. But your main understanding is that you have a huge understanding that this is a bad emotion. Okay. So, mindfulness meditation is a tool when you are going to use whenever you have that understanding that this is a bad emotion. So try to see your negativities as they arise. That is the first method. If you want to try it for yourself, you can think about the bad memory, negative memory you had with someone. Then you will see to yourself how anger is slowly coming to you. And then you will try to practice this see method. Try to see that anger. Then see whether you can get rid of the anger at that time. Be careful, because you have only formed the certain way to respond to your anger. Mostly you might be defending or with that blessing, our Sutta discussion for today is over. So wishing you a good night. Take care and we'll be seeing you next Monday at the same time. Good night everybody.